Hello, I'm Jen, and in this week's reading vlog, I find a brand new favorite read, and I'll also read my book club selection for the month. So come join me as we read these books and explore my backyard. One of my squirrels does make an appearance in this vlog, and thank you so much for joining me. I started reading Infinity Gate by M.R. Carey, and I am so happy. If you don't know who M.R. Carey is, or you're having trouble placing the name, he's the author that wrote The Girl with All the Gifts, which is one of my favorite horror novels of all time. But I don't think I fell in love with his writing until I read the Rampart trilogy, which is the Book of Coley, the Trials of Coley, and the Fall of Coley. The Rampart trilogy is a science fiction, post-apocalyptic, dystopian, where there are poisonous plants in the world, which I'm sure you can tell from the covers, which I love, but it's more about the characters than the actual world building. I feel like the plants were just a small piece of this world. This follows Coley, and he has an AI companion. It's not one that I would recommend widely to everyone, but I loved it mostly for M.R. Carey's writing. I first started reading Infinity Gate back in 2023 when it first came out, but at no fault of the book, I didn't finish reading it. I had other things going on, and it just fell by the wayside. I have read to page 153, and I'm just loving being back in this world. I mentioned in my top 10 favorite science fiction books of all time that my favorite element in science fiction is being able to explore other worlds, getting to see other landscapes and life forms, and I potentially get to see this infinitely in Infinity Gate, because our main character Hadis is in an Earth that is dying, and she has discovered a way to pass between other worlds. She does have assistance from AI technology, who is also a character in this book, and the science is based on dark energy, and I just love everything about this. I'm almost to the point where I stopped reading it the first time, so I did remember the events that happened, but I'm so happy to be back refreshing myself with these characters in this world, because I'm having the best time. And this may wind up being one of my favorite science fiction books of all time when I'm finished. I'm loving it that much so far. I'm going to read for a bit, and I'll probably update you again when I'm about 2/3 of the way through, because I think I'm about a third right now, and we'll see if I'm still loving this as much as I am right now. Oh, I also have this blackberry patch that needs to be weeded terribly, but I'm going to see. Oh, there's buds. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can show you the buds on my blackberry bushes. I am very excited about this. I got to show you blackberries. Super cool. I can't wait for you to see how big my blackberries get. Wow, it looks like my pine tree is getting a million pine cones. Okay, we can go. I have a low branch over here. We can look at all the pine cones. This is why my allergies are so bad. Look at all of this. These pine trees are happy. The whole tree looks like that. I don't know if you can see. There's another pine tree over here and a pine tree behind it, and they all look equally happy. And all of these probably have pollen. Weeding out my beds, getting rid of the mint, and weeding out my poor blackberries. My blackberries always do so amazing, and I usually just freeze them and put them in my smoothies, or I make syrup out of them. Putting the blackberry syrup in my matcha is so great. My channel is called Books and Matcha, and I don't ever show or talk about matcha, but obviously I love matcha, and I do put my blackberries in there. And I have company now watching me film, so that's embarrassing. I'm going to let you go, and I'll talk to you soon. hopefully the wind isn't too loud out here. I am 323 pages into Infinity Gate, and I am still absolutely loving this. The characters in this are so complex. In the first section, before I talked to you last, I feel like I was enjoying every single character, but I didn't necessarily have anyone to root for. They were very well written characters, but it wasn't until this next section that I found characters that I absolutely love and I'm rooting for, and I still just enjoy every single character. Like I said, everybody is so complex and has all of their own struggles, and everything ties in just so beautifully. I'm even getting little bits of some of my favorite stories in here. I just got through watching that brand new Netflix movie with Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, which is a man versus machine story, and I was thinking about Infinity Gate the whole time I was watching that. So I have about a third of this book left, and I am so excited to finish, and I will let you know what I think whenever I'm done. You guys, I am having the best reading year. I just finished Infinity Gate and I'm giving it 5 stars. It is so good. All of these concepts are so complex, but they are so accessible. Everything is so well developed. And I just had the best time with this one. It is the start of a series. I think it's the Pandemonium series, and the way this ends, I'm so excited to dive into the second book. Like I said, Infinity Gate is a multiverse novel where you get to see glimpses into other worlds, and all of the characters are so vast, and I just highly recommend it. So last night I started reading Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This is a horror novel. It is young adult, and I am about 60 pages in. Ignore the other bookmarks. I have it divided up by how we're reading it on the Horror Spotlight Discord. This is the book that the Discord members chose for the March read-along. Don't Let the Forest In follows Andrew and his twin sister and their friend Thomas. Andrew likes to write stories and Thomas likes to draw pictures. So together, Andrew and Thomas are able to make these very dark fairy tales and illustrations. And this is set in a boarding school where something strange happened before the summer. And I think our main character, Andrew, here is in a bit of denial. His character comes across as though he doesn't remember, and something terrible may have recently happened to Thomas's parents. So we need to figure out what happened last year, what's currently happening, why the boarding school does not allow these kids to go anywhere near the forest. I'm enjoying this so far, and I will keep you updated. I'm halfway through with Don't Let the Forest In. I'm at page 171. Looks like my book club has 3 sections left. I am enjoying this. The writing has a dark quality to it. I think C.G. Drews makes a lot of decisions toward the dark and lyrical. It's more metaphorical than based in reality, but it really fits the story where the main 2 characters are creating fairy tales, one of them being a writer and one of them being an illustrator. And there's some weird things that are happening in the woods. There's a lot of romance like you would expect in a young adult novel. One of the characters here is Ace, so if you're looking for a book that has Ace representation, this might be a good one for you to check out. So far, this is one that I think I'm going to keep on my shelves and recommend as a young adult horror novel. Good morning. I finished Don't Let the Forest In last night, and I'm struggling to figure out how I feel about this book. I really enjoyed it most of the way through. I really love the dark metaphorical writing, and I really enjoyed the main characters, the dark fairy tale writing, and I enjoyed their angsty, yearning relationship. The Ace representation was really great. There were some twists and turns, but the ending did throw me off a bit. I'm still trying to process how I feel about it. I think I may wind up giving this a 3, 3.5. I'm not sure. I did really enjoy the experience of reading it. At no time did I want to put it down. I'm just not sure overall that I'll give it higher than a 3 rating, but I did enjoy it, and if you have this on your list, I would recommend still giving it a read. This was a really great reading week for me. I got to find a brand new favorite sci-fi in Infinity Gate, and I also enjoyed reading Don't Let the Forest In. Thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure to leave me a comment and let me know if you've read these or if you plan to read these. If you don't have anything else to say, just feel free to leave me the rose emoji, and I will talk to you soon.